I was the only one in the library's basement archive that night, and the air conditioning had just cut out. It was a miserable, humid summer evening, and the rows of shelving units stretched out like a metal labyrinth, filled with decades of forgotten town records. I was searching for the original architectural blueprints of the old courthouse, a pointless project. But it got me the overtime. That oppressive heat and the smell of ancient paper and stale glue were the only things confirming I was actually awake. I was deep in the MIM section, running my finger along the spine of a ledger marked Municipal Deeds 1952 to 1954, when I heard a distinct thump. It sounded like a book, a big one, had been dropped on the carpeted floor, maybe 2 aisles over. I frowned. The security guard was supposed to be doing rounds on the floors above, and I'd signed myself in as the only person below ground. I convinced myself it was just the building settling, or maybe a rogue rat, but the silence after the noise was absolute, thick, and wrong. I stopped my search and stood still, letting my eyes adjust to the dim emergency lights. I waited for another sound. Nothing. I shrugged it off, reaching for the ledger again, but then a quiet sound started up from the far end of the same aisle. It was a quick, light tappity-tap, the sound of fingernails gently drumming on wood or metal. It was fast, like someone impatiently tapping their fingers while waiting. I crept forward, moving slowly between the rows, trying to see past the stacks of old maps. The tappity-tap moved with me, staying exactly 1 aisle away. When I moved forward 3 steps, it moved 3 steps. When I stopped, it stopped. It wasn't an echo, it was a precise mirroring, and the rhythm was too casual, too human, to be a glitch in the old building. My heart started to pound hard against my ribs. I pulled out my phone, not to call anyone yet, but to use the camera flash, just in case. I came to the end of the aisle and paused. The tapping was now directly on the other side of the shelving unit. I braced myself, took a deep breath, and swiftly spun around the corner, flashing the light into the neighboring aisle. It was empty, completely, perfectly empty. The aisle stretched to the far wall. No doors, no windows, and definitely no person. Relief washed over me for a second, a giddy, adrenaline-fueled lightness, and I almost laughed at my own fear. Then I heard the sound again. It wasn't coming from the adjacent aisle, or the next one, or the one after that. The tappity-tap was coming from the ceiling. I tilted the phone upward, shining the light directly above my head. The industrial shelving units, solid steel bolted to the concrete floor, towered over me. And resting on the very top shelf, where no librarian could ever reach without a huge ladder, was a small, dusty box of index cards. The rhythmic, impatient tappity-tap was coming from the box itself. The most horrifying thing was not the sound, or the fact that it was unreachable. It was that when I shone the light up there, the shadow of a hand-thin, elongated fingers was visible underneath the box, not holding it, but resting on the metal shelf beneath it. And as I stared, the shadow began to move. It wasn't drumming anymore. The long skeletal fingers slowly started to wave at me, a lazy, friendly gesture, while the tapping continued from inside the box. I didn't wait for the inevitable next step. I dropped my phone, abandoning the blueprints and the overtime, and scrambled out of that basement faster than a man should be able to move. To this day, the worst part isn't the thought of the thing up there in the dark, but the casual, almost playful way it waved, making me wonder if it hadn't just been waiting for someone to finally notice it.